Thank you.
Good. That's good. Hello, Tang. How are you?
Hello, can you hear me?
Good. I can hear you, Tang. Have you got your camera fixed yet?
Yeah, I don't figure it out yet.
Not yet. Okay, I hope you can soon. Otherwise, I never get to see you. Okay, it is already past time for the lesson, 2 p.m. Again, thank you everyone for coming earlier than we used to, for adapting to the new start time. Paula, your mum told me about the things you were saying about the class. So we're going to go faster from now on, okay?
Okay.
Okay, Paula. And remember, you are free to speak to me about this anytime you want, okay? I'm always happy to get your suggestion. Okay, Paula? Okay. All right, everyone. So we will start. Wei, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Hello, Wei. How are you?
I'm fine. Sorry, my laptop camera has some problem because I dropped my laptop, so it cannot turn on the camera right now.
Okay. Okay. That's fine. All right, everyone. So we're going to get started. Just make sure no one else has joined. I'll just wait for Duknia is coming.
Yeah, I'm here.
How are you, Duknia?
I'm fine, thanks.
Good. I'm good, thank you. Okay, everyone. Well, welcome to class for this afternoon. Nice to see you all again. What we're going to be doing from now on is I want to go a little bit faster. And what I mean by that is I want to go more quickly through all the different scenarios with the essay and also the different task one graphs and also the different parts of the speaking test. We haven't looked at speaking part 2 or part 3 for quite a long time now. So I want to move on to those and move quite quickly through those because I know some people have got the Ielts test coming up not too far away. So I want to give people more practice at all the different parts of the Ielts test. So like I say, I'm not going to go as slowly as I have been. And if you feel you are getting a little bit behind, of course, you can ask me or Mrs. Ha anytime, any questions you have. But otherwise, I want to keep moving, like I say, fairly quickly so we can get through, excuse me, all the different parts of the Ielts test more quickly. So the first thing I want to show you, and I will just get it up on my computer so I can show you this, is I've talked to you before about accessing different websites, news websites, so you can practice, obviously, reading and obviously learn different words. And also, besides those two things, you can get more ideas from looking at different stories and reading about different things, get ideas about things that will help you in task 2 of the writing. Now I'm just going to share the screen with you as soon as I can get it working. Okay. Before we start, does anyone have any questions for me? Okay, let's go. So this particular website is abc.net.au. It is the website of the Australian Broadcasting Corporation. And I'm showing you this website because, one, I know it will be easy for you to access from Vietnam. and also because it's one you don't need to log into or you don't need to join. All you have to do is go to the website and you can see all the material without having to enter a password or sign up to anything. So what's useful about this particular website is that it gives you can see across the top here, you've got lots of different subheadings or subtitles to give you access to all the different categories on the website. Like I say, these stories will give you background information on lots of the topics that come up in task 2 of the writing. For example, the environment, which is what we're looking at now, education, science, technology, all things like that that are useful to have ideas in the back of your mind on for when you might be asked about them in writing an opinion in a task 2 essay. They're also very useful for learning new words and also seeing how sentences are structured. As I'm sure I've said to you before, I think you should read and listen to English 10 minutes every day. Only 10 minutes. I know you're busy, but it's not very long. And even if you only look at these stories and learn 1 or 2 words every day, if you do that every day for a month, that of course is about 60 words, which is a lot of words. So if you do that every month, 60 new words is great, a great way to improve your English. So just to give you an example of this, I'll look at this particular story here. So Kim Nan.
Yes.
Kim Nan. Okay,
Yeah.
Kim Nan. Okay, can you read the headline of the story, please?
Spanish police. I don't know to say this word.
Okay, keep going.
Says.
Yeah, seize it is. Seize.
Sees
Good.
74 tons of stolen olives. Amid soaring
Prices. Okay, good. Thank you, Kim Nam. Okay, so already you can see reading this headline, there may be some words you are not familiar with. So I know it takes a little bit of time to look them up, but learning all different words like these, which are common English words, will improve your vocabulary and enable you, of course, to get a better mark in the Ielts exam. The more words, the more vocabulary you have, obviously, the better chance you have of getting a better score. So I'll just quickly look at some of these words for you if you are not sure about them. Seize means to take. Seize is a synonym for take. So this word here, it's pronounced seize, and it just means to take. So Spanish police have taken 74 tons of stolen olives. Olives are a type of fruit, okay? Amid means while soaring prices are happening. Soaring might be a word that's not familiar to some of you. Jawi.
Yes, I'm here.
Do you know what soaring means? Soaring.
So I don't know.
Okay. Soaring is a synonym for flying.
Oh, okay.
Flying. So what soaring prices, Jawi? What do you think soaring prices means?
The price rising.
Yes, the price is rising. Very good. The price is rising. The price is rising very quickly, actually. So that's what soaring prices means. So already you've learned a new adjective, soaring, which could be useful for task 1 when you are describing maybe how the figures, the numbers on a graph change. You can talk about the figures soaring if they are rising quickly. Soaring. So soaring just means to fly. And soaring prices means prices that are flying or rising very fast. Okay, so you can see already just reading something like this, and it's only taken us a couple of minutes, you've already been exposed to 2 new words. Seize, which means to take, okay? Soaring, which means to fly, to rise. Okay, and looking at the rest of the headline, Tuk Ling.
Yes.
Okay, Tuk Ling, can you read what I've highlighted, please?
12 people are arrested in
Seville.
Yes.
Seville. It's the name of a city in Spain, Seville.
Following the latest theft of olive and olive oil, as olive prices rise on the back of dwindling
Dwindling.
harvest.
Dwindling. Dwindling.
Dwindling.
Dwindling. Can
Dwindling.
you say that? Dwindling. You pronounce it exactly as it is spelled. Exactly as it is spelled. So dwindling.
Dwindling.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Keep going.
Harvest due to heat wave and survey drought.
Okay, close. Okay, due to heat waves, okay? Heat waves means high temperatures, okay?
Yeah.
Like you get in Hanoi, sometimes you get heat waves in Hanoi, high temperatures, and these words here, severe drought. So again, there are several words here. I'll just quickly remind you of what they might mean. Paula, do you know what dwindling means? Dwindling, Paula?
It's like it's changing.
Yeah, changing which way?
Down.
Down, yes. Dwindling just means getting smaller.
Yeah.
To dwindle just means to get smaller. Something is getting smaller. Okay, so it means the harvest is getting smaller. The crops that farmers are getting from their fields are getting smaller because of heat waves. It's too hot. Severe is an adjective, an intensifier, okay, which means very bad. Something that is severe means very bad. Do you know what a drought is, Paula?
Drought is like it's really dry and
Yes, correct. Thank you. Drought is when it's very dry. There is no water. There is no water. Okay, is when a drought is. So it means a severe drought just means a very bad situation of no water. So again, you can see we've only spent a few minutes on this, but just looking at the headlines of these stories, of this story, you've learned words like seize, which means take, soaring, okay, which means flying. And when you talk about soaring prices, it means the prices are flying high. Dwindling means get less. And severe drought means a bad situation of no water. So as well as learning the words, you can also get some idea of what climate change might be doing to a country. So, for example, I'm thinking of climate change means a lot less rainfall, which means the prices of crops, of vegetables, is going to go very high. So that is one bad effect of climate change. So you can see how reading this headline, I hope you can see this, just gives you an idea of the sort of effect that climate change might have, which you can remember if you ever get asked an essay question on climate change, and it also teaches you a few new words. Now, we've been doing that just for 5 minutes, and there's already been 4 new words that some of you have seen. You don't need to learn 4. I know it's quite hard to remember 4 words, but like I say, even 2 words a day, 2 words a day, and that would be 60 words every month. So that will improve your vocabulary a lot. So I hope you can find that useful. This is where, and I talked about this a few weeks ago, where ideas can come from. The sort of ideas that will sit in the back of your mind and give you ideas for essays in the future, I hope. Okay, so I'm just going to put that link into chat. Okay, so you can see the link in chat So like I say, this is just one example of a news link. There are others, but this one is easy to get into. So I hope you find that useful. And I hope you can look at something like this and just read a different story every day and learn some of the words, learn how the sentences are structured, and absorb some of the ideas. Okay. And that's all I want to do on that. All right. Does anyone have any questions about that? Okay, so we're going to start off with speaking. What I'm going to do with you now is I'm going to play you a video that will last for about 18 minutes, okay? And this will give you an idea of some strategies for doing the speaking test. So the idea is to watch this video and then take some notes while you are doing it, and then we can discuss any questions you have about it afterwards. Cho Zhang, how are you?
Great, thank you.
Okay, I see you just joined the class. And Zung Ha, how are you? Can you hear me? Hi, Zung Ha, are you well?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, everyone. So I'm just going to, actually, I do know what I haven't done. I just need to stop the share for a moment. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, as I say, is share this video with you, which you can all watch and take notes. And it's about how to get a good score in the speaking test. All right. Paula, I'll start it. Please tell me, Paula, if you can't hear or see anything, okay?
Okay.
I recently did the Ielts speaking test and I got a band 9 in order to test all of the different strategies and techniques that I teach my students on my courses. I've helped thousands of students get 7, 8, and 9 on the speaking test. So what I thought I would do in this video is just summarize exactly what I did during the test that I got a band 9 in, and what my students have reported back. What did they do in the test when they have got a band 8 or a 9? So we're going to talk about what we did in part 1, part 2, part 3, and then what we did for pronunciation, fluency and coherence, grammar and vocabulary.
Okay, Paula, can you hear and see everything?
Yes.
Okay, good.
The 4 things that every IELTS examiner is thinking about on test day during your speaking test. So for part 1, I directly answered the question. So if they asked me a question, I directly answered it. And then simply what I did was I added in detail. So this could have been like an explanation or further detail or an example. And you can summarize this by just, I helped the examiner. So I helped the examiner understand my direct answer to their question. So if they asked me where I was from, I would say I am from and tell them exactly where I'm from, and then I would add a little bit more detail explaining where I'm from and about that place. Importantly, no memorization. One of the big mistakes that you'll see students making who are stuck at a 6.5 is they memorize part 1 answers rather than just answering them naturally. And there was no counting sentences. I think one of the key mistakes that a lot of students make is during the test, during part 1, their teacher has told them, you know, you must use 2 sentences or 3 sentences or 4 sentences, and they spend that time thinking about the number of sentences rather than just directly answer the question, add a little bit more detail. That might be 2 sentences, it might be 3, it might be 4. You're not thinking about this, you're just helping the examiner understand your direct answer to that question. And also remember, part 1 is about you. So it is impossible to get these questions wrong because they're asking about you, and you are the world's leading expert on you. Then we move on to part 2.
Okay, I just want to stop there for a moment, everyone. So, Zung Ha.
Yes.
Okay, Zung Ha. So just looking just quickly at part 1, if I ask you this question, do you like to travel, Zung Ha? What is your answer to me? Do you like to travel?
I will answer that. Yes, I do like travel.
Okay, so that answer is okay, but it's a little bit short. So you can see in the video, okay, he answers the question, all right, is what he's suggesting. Then you need to add some detail. So you need to explain a little bit further and then maybe give an example. So for every part 1 question you get asked, you can answer with 3 separate parts to your answer. You don't need to do this with every question because it will get a bit boring. But for example, if I say to you, do you like to travel? And you say yes, then you would explain a little bit. You would say yes, because, okay? And then you would give an example of maybe somewhere you've been. So can you try that, please, Zung Ha? I'll ask you again, Zung Ha, do you like
Yeah.
traveling? Do you like traveling?
Yes, because it make me feel relaxed and help me gain more experience about the world.
And then an example. So think of an example. Now, remember what I've said before about examples. They don't need to be true, okay? You can make them up. The examiner doesn't know and the examiner doesn't care, okay? He just wants to hear you speak proper English. So can you give me an example of somewhere you went where you enjoyed, Zung Ha?
For example, when travel to Europe, I can see snow, which don't have in Vietnam.
Okay, good. And that's all you need to say. That's all you need to say. That's good, Zung Ha. Okay, so can we put it all together? Okay, so Zung Ha, do you like traveling?
Yes, because it help me relax and gain more experience. For example, when travel to Europe, I can see snow which don't have in Vietnam.
Okay, perfect. Perfect, Zung Ha. That is a perfect part 1 answer. Okay, so everybody, so Zung Ha answered the question, okay, which is what in the video it says here, directly answered the question. She added some detail and she gave an example. Try it one more time. Tuk Ling.
Yes,
Okay, did you hear what Zung Ha did?
yes, I can.
Okay, let's see if you can do the same thing. So, Tuk Ling, do you like traveling?
Yes, I love traveling because I want uh I want to go to many places in the world, and but I have never been gone abroad, so that I love traveling. Uh, for
Okay,
example,
for example,
huh?
for
Uh, for
example, yeah.
For example, I want to go to Korean because I love the uh, food and the
Okay, so remember, you only need to give one
culture.
example. Remember kiss, Tuk Ling, okay? Keep it simple, Okay, so you answer the question, you give one reason, and you just give one example. All right, so you would say, yes, I love to travel because I like going to new places. I would love to go to Korea because I like the food. Okay, and that's all you need to say. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So the answer
And
doesn't have to be long. In fact, it's good if it's not long. Okay, so just one example of each thing. So I hope everyone understands that. So you answer the question, you give a short explanation, and you give a short example. Do one more of these. Tongue.
Yes.
Okay, Tongue, going to do the same thing with you. Tongue, do you like traveling?
Yes, I do. I do like traveling because it helps me relax from regular day stresses. So,
Yeah, and for example.
and for example, when I go traveling, I don't have to think about like normal days. Probably just relax.
Okay, good. You can give a more specific example if you like. And like I say, you can make one up. So for example, you might say, I like to go traveling because I like to relax. Last year, I went to Nha Trang and I just stayed on the beach and did nothing. Does that make sense, Tongue? Hello, Tongue.
Thằng ơi,
Can you hear me?
Oh.
Can you hear me, Tongue? He disappeared.
here. I think you're here.
Okay. All right. But I hope everyone, you all get the idea. Just think of a short example. Okay. And it can be, it doesn't have to be overseas, can just be in Vietnam. Okay. You went to Nha Trang to relax. You went to Hoi An to enjoy the culture and meeting new people. Just anything like that. Okay. Just short examples. Okay. Any questions, anyone? So to summarize, part one, speaking questions, you answer the question. Yes, I like to travel. No, I hate travel. Why do you love to travel, or why do you hate travel? And give a short example. I love to go to Korea because I like Korean food. Okay.
What I did was I focused on the main topic. So part two, you'll be given a cue card and it will have a main topic at the top, and then you'll be given a few bullet points. What I did was just spend the whole time focusing on the main topic. And I added extra bullet points. So you'll be given a few bullet points below the main topic. I added in some extra bullet points that were related to the main topic that I find easier to talk about. Because the problem with if you follow the bullet points blindly, some of them you might not be comfortable talking about those, or you might talk about them very, very quickly. So I added in extra bullet points, and that's what my students do as well. And I did not use all bullet points. We've already talked about this, but many students who are struggling with part two, they have been told by their teacher that you must start with bullet point 1, then talk about bullet point 2, then talk about bullet point 3, then talk about bullet point 4. You do not have to do that, and in fact that causes a lot of problems because students either are talking about things that they're not familiar with, they're not comfortable talking about, and they often run out of time. And I just kept speaking until the examiner stopped me. So again, we'll talk more about why this is in terms of fluency, but if you're thinking about number of sentences and you're thinking about bullet points and you're thinking about time, then you're not able to speak as fluently as you would naturally, because your brain can't process all of these things simultaneously. It's difficult to multitask and do all of these things at the same time. So what you want to do is just focus on one thing, which is what is the main topic, and just speak about that main topic as fluently and as naturally as possible for the 2 minutes. And the examiner will stop you. Believe me, the examiner does not want to be in that room and with you any longer than they have to. They will stop you in and around 2 minutes, so you don't have to worry about time. Then we move on to part 3. So again, directly answer question, but more development. So part 1, you just have to add in a little bit of detail. Part 3, you have to develop your answers a lot more. So this is particularly explanations and examples. You don't have to give an example if you can't think of one, of course, but you should answer the question directly and then talk about why you think that. Explain your reasoning. Why do you think that thing is true? So let me give you a quick example. I think I can, if I'm remembering correctly, one of the questions was, do you think people will live on different planets in the future? So I answered the question directly. I said, yes, I think people will live on different planets in the future. I explained why I believe that. Why I believe that is we must leave the Earth, because what if there is a nuclear war or a terrible disease that kills everybody, then the human species will be wiped out. So it's really important that we have a different base where we can recover from such a catastrophic event. And the example that I used was SpaceX and Elon Musk. That is a real example. That's really what he is doing, and he wants to move to Mars in order to make the human race an interplanetary species. And that's all I did. And that's all of what my Band 8, Band 9 students, that's all they did. And I attempted every single question, even though there were some questions that were odd, were quite difficult. I attempted every question. Okay, so these are the 4 marking criteria. I'm not going to go into too much detail about pronunciation. I'm a native English speaker, so what I do, of course I'm going to get a Band 9 for pronunciation, but what do I get my students who are not native English speakers, what do I get them to focus on? So focus on being as clear as possible. So you don't get high marks for pronunciation for having a British accent or an American accent. You get high marks for pronunciation by being as clear as possible. And in order to get a Band 8, a Band 9, 100% of the words that you say should be understood by the examiner. So we get our students really to focus on this and not focus on accent or anything like that. We also need to talk about something called higher level pronunciation features. These are things like intonation, sentence stress, word stress, connected speech, things like that. If you are at a Band 8 or a Band 9 level, you're going to use these features naturally. And most students who are at that level already do use these naturally. So what we get our students to do is we make them aware of these, but it's very rare for a student at that level to really be focusing on these things rather than this. This is the #1 thing that you should be focusing on. And if you are very, very clear, like the examiner can understand 100% of what you're saying, you probably are using these features anyway. So you don't really have to focus on these. I didn't focus on these at all. My students focus on them a little bit, but not that much. The students that really do focus on improving their intonation, their sentence stress, their word stress, tend to not be at the right level yet. So just focus on being clear. This will take care of itself. So fluency and coherence. Well, what does coherence mean? So you heard me talking directly answer the question, focus on the main topic, directly answer the question. Coherence means, did you answer the actual question asked? So if they ask you about what did you do last weekend, you better tell them about what you did last weekend, not what you plan to do next weekend. And then coherence also covers development. So did you develop your ideas enough in part 3? Did you speak about the topic for around 2 minutes? And did you answer each question and give a little bit more detail? If you do these things, you will naturally satisfy coherence. So coherence is far more structural. It is just following the particular structures and the things, the do's and don'ts that we talked about here. So I'm not going to go into too much detail. The bigger problem for most students is fluency. So what we get our students to do is, I spoke to the examiner naturally as possible. A big mistake that we see a lot of students making, speak to the examiner in a very formal, academic, stressed out, we call robotic way. So they speak to the examiner and they sound like a robot. Because the test is very stressful, and because it's a big occasion and it's a high stakes test, people often do sound very robotic. I spoke to the examiner, and my Band 8, Band 9 students speak to the examiner like you would speak to a friend or a colleague or someone you were talking to in a pub or a coffee shop. What this does is it forces you to use natural fluency. So speaking without so much effort and sounding a lot more natural. Fluency is all about speaking at a natural pace without unnatural hesitation, unnatural pausing. I did pause, I did hesitate at times, but not unnaturally. And one of the ways that I also did that and improved my fluency was I avoided complex ideas, vocab, and grammar. The students who try to make their ideas more complex and their vocabulary more complex and their grammar more complex and everything more complex, their fluency normally suffers. Because think about it like your brain is a computer. If you have too many programs open at the same time, if you're asking your computer to do too many things, it slows down. Exactly the same thing happens with speech. If you are trying to think of really complex ideas, vocabulary and grammar all at the same time and make everything really complex, you're asking your brain to do too many things at the same time and your fluency suffers. So just speak to the examiner like they're a human being and keep things simple, and that is going to improve your fluency. So for grammar, used functional grammar. What does functional grammar mean, and how is it going to help you? So let's say the examiner asks you, what did you do last weekend? You're probably going to use past simple, because the function of past simple is to talk about things in the past that happened in the past and are over. I went to the park. But then let's say the examiner asks me, well, what's the best park in your local area? Then what they're asking me to do, the function will be to compare two things. So I'm going to use a comparative grammar structure. Phoenix Park is much bigger than Marley Park, for example. Or I might use a superlative. Phoenix Park is the biggest park in the city. So I'm not thinking about what is the most complex grammar. I'm thinking about what is the appropriate grammar to use to answer the question. And if you look through IELTS speaking questions, you'll notice that really what they're doing is prompting you to use particular types of grammar. Why do you think they ask you about past things and then future things and then present things? Because they're testing whether you can use all of those different grammar structures, not jamming in as many different grammatical functions and structures as possible. So I did not try to make things complex. I kept my grammar as functional and as simple as possible. That's what I did to get a band 9. That's what my students do to get, band 7, 8, and 9 in grammar. The other advantage of that is it's going to cut down on the number of errors that you make. If you are just focusing on using simple functional grammar, that's probably grammar that you learned years ago and you're very comfortable using. So that's going to cut down on the number of mistakes. And basically, the fewer mistakes that you make, the higher your score is going to be. Vocabulary, only used complex / high level words when I had to. What does this mean? This means that 95% of the words that I used were simple. You, as an English learner, would understand them. I only used high-level words, C1, C2 words, when I absolutely had to. If you want to know what that means, go back, start this video again, and think just about the type of words that I used in this video. 95 to 99% of the words that I used were simple. Or just go back and listen to the last 2 minutes. There are only a very few words that I put in there. So for example, when I was talking about living on a different planet, I used interplanetary. That is a very complex word, but I only used it because there's no simpler way of describing that. So I only used complex or high-level words when I had to, and that's what my students do as well. That improves their fluency, and it also improves their pronunciation as well, and improves their grammar. So everything is easier when you do this. But what I did was use topic-specific words. So these are words that you normally use when you're discussing or talking about that topic. So let's say the topic is about global warming. You're going to use words like CO2, emissions, global warming, the earth heating up, melting ice caps. None of these words are terribly complex, but you need those topic-specific words in order to discuss global warming. Hope that you find that helpful. If you want a whole course,
Okay, I can stop it there because that's mostly the end. So before I run through it again quickly with you, do you have any questions? Does anyone have any questions? All right, so already we've discussed part 1, and I've done a couple of examples of that with some of you. So part 1, you answer the question, okay? You give a short explanation, and you give an example if you can. So, do you like to travel? Yes, I love to travel. I love going new places. Last year, I went to Hoi An. I'd never been there before, and it was so charming. Okay, so I gave an answer, I gave an explanation, and I gave an example. Short example. That's all you need to do. Part 2, what the teacher was talking about there was the bullet points. Now, I'm sure you've all seen the topic cards by now. You've all seen how the task 2 question, the part 2 question is set out. You don't need to answer all the bullet points. Even though they are written down, you don't need to use those. What he is suggesting is that during your preparation time, you just write down extra bullet points that you might use to fill up the 2 minutes, but you don't need to use all of them. And you'll notice on the topic cards, the bullet points are in a certain order. You don't have to answer them in that order. All that matters is that you speak fluently for 2 minutes about the main topic. Whether you use the bullet points or not doesn't matter. You're not being marked on that. You're being marked on, can you talk fluently and with as few mistakes as possible about the main topic? So don't worry about the bullet points. Part 3, and we'll look at this in more detail over the next couple of weeks. Part 3 is you need to put more development into your answer. So it's just like a part 1 answer, but longer. This is when you maybe need to give a longer explanation. Maybe your examples get a little bit longer. All right, so that is the main difference between part 3 and part 1. Part 3, your answers are just longer, with maybe more examples and a longer explanation. And again, the 4 things you are marked on, which are pronunciation, fluency, and coherence, that counts as one thing, by the way. So that's 1, 2, grammar, 3, 4. I'm sure most of you know about this already. So as the teacher there was saying, your pronunciation just needs to be as clear as possible. Just concentrate on making your pronunciation, your words clear. All right. Fluency and coherence, you just speak to the examiner naturally. Just naturally, just like you're having a conversation with a friend or with your mother or father. So you just speak naturally. There's no need to try and give a speech. You are just answering questions naturally. Grammar, you heard in there, you just use simple grammar forms, past, present, future. And vocabulary, you keep as simple as possible. Remember, I keep saying to you, KISS, K-I-S, keep it simple. 90% of the vocabulary should just be simple, easy to understand words. Okay? Because 1, if you are comfortable with using those, means you don't make a mistake. And they can't take marks off if you make a mistake. All right? And 2, you won't confuse yourself, especially in an exam situation, which of course is stressful. You don't want to confuse yourself or try to start using words which you are not 100% sure of the meaning. Okay, you just want to stick to using simple, easy to understand words. The only extra vocabulary that he was talking about, you might use vocabulary that is specific to a particular situation. So the example he gave was global warming. So you might use words like environment. You might use words like heat wave. You might use words like melting. Otherwise, just use simple vocabulary. Okay. Zung Ha, I hope I haven't put you to sleep. I hope it's not too boring for you. All right. Does anyone have any questions about that? All right. Paula, any questions?
No.
Okay. So I don't think there was anything new in what he was saying. I think I've mentioned all these things to you over the course of our lessons, but it's good to review and to hear it all in one package, all the things put together. So what we're just going to do now is practice a little bit of speaking part 3. All right. So normally, of course, you do speaking part 2, which is the 2-minute speech. And then the part 3 questions are all to do with the part 2 topic. But we're going to skip the part 2 part just for now, other than that I'm showing you the topic. Okay, so the speaking part 2 topic in this case is describe a person who's helped you at an important time of your life. So the part 3 questions are all about helping people. Okay, that's why they're connected to this. So what I want you to do is, well, I'm not even going to give you time to think about these because you won't get time to think about them in the exam. So I'm just going to ask you these questions one after the other. Okay, one question for each of you. And what I want you to try and do is, first of all, obviously answer the question, give me an explanation, then an example, if you can think of one. Okay, examples for part 3 questions can be a bit hard to think up, especially if you have to make one up. So only give an example if you can think of one. If you can't think of one, don't worry. Okay, Paula, I'm going to start with you, all right?
Yeah, I'm charging my laptop. So can you give me a second?
Okay, all right, I'll come back to you. So,
I'm done. No,
sorry?
I'm done.
You're done. Okay, that charged very quickly. Okay, Paula. All right, so I'm going to ask you a part 3 speaking question, all right?
Yes.
Okay, so as you can see on the screen there, I'm going to ask you that question. Do you think it's possible to help someone too much, Paula?
Yes, I believe so. Sometimes, especially with your close bonds and close relationship, you can help your friends or family too much. You already give them the support that may have like adverse impact on them. They can be like relying, they can rely on you too much, and it's not beneficial for them.
Okay, good answer, Paula. Okay, so basically people can rely on you too much, and that's not good for them. So the only thing, so Paula, so the words you used were good and the length of your answer was good. What I'll give you one thing, everyone, one thing to concentrate on for next time. So Paula, for me, you need to become more conversational. Okay? A little bit more conversational, like you were just talking to me. We are having a cup of coffee or an ice cream at Paris Gâteau, okay? And you were just talking to me while we were having our ice cream and coffee. It sounded a bit to me like you're giving a little bit of a speech, a little bit, okay? It didn't sound completely relaxed. Now, I know in an exam situation, it's going to be difficult to sound completely relaxed, but that is what you are aiming for. Does that make sense, Paula?
Yes.
So, for example, if I was talking to you about the same thing, I would say, I think, yeah, it is possible to help someone too much because, well, you don't really want them to rely on you, do you? Because if they rely on you, then they're not taking responsibility for their own life. See what I mean, Paula? I was trying to be conversational with you. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, good. All right. Xiaowei.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, Xiaowei, I hope you heard what Paula said and what I
Yes.
said. Okay, so let's see if you can answer this question. Xiaowei, why do you think some people find it difficult to ask for help?
I think that because they have like a big self-esteem and they don't want to rely on other people, and they tend to they want to solve their problem by themselves, and uh,
Okay, so yeah, so Xiaowei, what you were saying, Xiaowei, is absolutely fine. Okay, is absolutely fine. Now, what you do need to do is just make sure if you only have a couple of ideas, all right, just finish your second idea, okay, with your tone of your voice going down.
Yes.
All right. Rather than sort of stop partway through your third idea because you're not sure where the idea is going to go. So you had 2 really good ideas, shall we? Excellent ideas, okay, about people's self-esteem, all right? And the second one was about people want to take responsibility for themselves. That was what you said, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so 2 great ideas, shall we? Excellent answer. All right, so what you just need to, so straight away you thought of 2 ideas, so just use those 2 ideas and don't struggle to try and think of a third one.
Oh,
okay?
Yes.
Okay. All right, does that make sense, shall we?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay, good, good. So, and again, your pronunciation was good, Xiaowei. I could hear all of what you were saying. Same for you too, Paula. Your pronunciation is great. And both of you, you are using simple words, which is great. Okay, you didn't make any mistakes. So I can't take any marks off you for that. Okay. All right. Tuk Ling, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, Tuk Ling. Do you think young people these days are more or less likely to ask for help than older people?
Yes, I think young people today are more or less likely to ask for help people from our generation, because I think young people feel shy when they need to help older people, because uh, they think that uh, when when they ask the older, they can be scored by the older um, um, if the older um, don't want to have them.
Okay, so Tuk Ling, you started so well, okay? You start so well, but then you have the same problem as Jia Wei in that you run out of an idea halfway through. Okay, so in that case, if you can only think of 2 good ideas, just use those 2. Don't start on a new sentence if you are not sure how you are going to finish it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so again, you answered the question well, Tuk Ling, but then just when you start to give a third reason, suddenly you run out of ideas, so that affects your fluency. And so you don't want to do that in the test. So if you can suddenly think of 2 good ideas, just use the 2 good ideas.
Yes.
And there was only one mistake I heard with the word. I think you said scold. Is that right?
Yes.
You said word.
I
I'm trying to think. The sentence you used that I think you should have said scolded them. I can't remember this exactly the sentence you said now, but I think you used the wrong form of the word. You said you said scold when I think you should have said scolded. I think. So just be careful of that. Just make sure you're using the correct form of the word. Okay,
Yes.
but the rest of it. So Tuk Ling, you were very conversational with me. That was great. Okay, so the speed at which you were talking, the words you used, and the style you were talking to me, that was all perfect, Tuk Ling. All right, all perfect.
Yeah.
So yeah, so again, just be careful though that you don't run out of an idea halfway through, because that makes you sound not fluent. So if all you can do, even if it means giving a short answer, all right, if you can only think of 2 ideas, okay, that's all you can think of. Okay, so don't worry.
Yeah.
By the way, everyone, another thing with part 3 you need to be aware of, the questions in part 3, the examiner will start to ask you quite simple questions. If the examiner thinks you are doing okay at these, the questions will get harder. All right, so don't be too worried if the questions are getting harder and you are struggling a bit to answer them, because it means the examiner is really trying to test you. It means the examiner knows that your English is already quite good, and they just ask you harder and harder questions just to see how good you really are. Okay, so don't be worried when the questions start to get harder and harder, and if you struggle to answer them, because that is what they are trying to do, just to test what your limit is. Okay, and that actually is a good thing. If they start to ask you harder and harder questions, it means they think your answers to the simple questions are good, so they need to ask you harder questions. All right, Kim Nan.
Yes.
Okay, Kim Nan, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think it's possible to help someone too much, Kim Nan?
I think yes, that is about having people I love, like my family or my close friends. Because I believe that the people who receive help by me, maybe no, sorry. Um, uh, um,
Okay, have you run out of idea, Kim Nan? Hello, Kim Nan.
Ngân ơi, sao đây? Máy sao đây? Bật mic lên.
con vẫn đang nói mà bác.
Thế à? Thế không nghe gì cả. Ok. Cố gắng để chữa cái khoảng cách ra ấy để giữa câu nói của mình đi nhé. Tập dần để sửa đi.
Vâng.
Thế thầy nói lại thầy đi bảo tôi nói lại được không? Thế lên. Khẩn trương.
Yeah, teacher.
Yes, I can.
Can I try again?
Okay, of course, try again. I'll ask you the question again, Kim Nan. Do you think it's possible to help someone too much?
Yes, I think yes. That is about having people I love, like my family or my close friend, because I believe that those are people who deserve that help.
Okay, that's good, Kim Nan. All right. And like I was saying to the others, if that's all you can think of, that's fine. Okay. Better to stop there than to start another sentence that you're not sure where it's going to end. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so your answer you gave to me, although it was a little bit short, it was still okay because you didn't make any mistakes and you gave a perfect sentence.
Yeah.
All right, so remember, Kim Nan, KIS, okay, KISS, keep it simple. Just keep it simple, all right? Don't try to get too complicated. If you can't think of an answer to the question, just say so in the end, especially if the questions get hard. Just say, I'm sorry, I don't have an answer for that, or I don't really have an opinion for that. Even saying that shows you are using good English to answer.
Yeah.
Okay. And just one thing to correct that I heard you say before, you talked about receive help by me. Okay. It should be receive help from me. Receive help from me. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Kim Nan. Okay. So we've got Tang, then Duk Nia, then Cho Zhang, then Zung Ha. Tang, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, Tang, why do you think, Tang, people find it hard to ask for help?
I think like most of the people nowadays is like a little bit of shy, and they don't ask for help because they want to prove that without any help they can still complete the task.
Okay, that is the end?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's fine. That's fine. Maybe a little bit short, but it was all complete time. That's good. Okay. You didn't pause. It was very fluent. You had good speed, and the idea and English were fine, Tang. So that's good. That's good.
Okay.
Okay. Duk Nia, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm doing. I do.
Okay. Duk Nia, do you think young people today are less likely to ask for help than older people?
So, like, firstly, I think because they are shy, like kind of afraid because like young people they want to prove themselves. Like they can do anything. They want to prove themselves. And they don't want like others to just judge them not they can't do anything. So, and Unfortunately, I think they have the internet right now, so I think if they need something, they will just search, like not like the older generation that have to ask for other help, but younger now they only need to search on Google or something for like answers.
Okay, very good answer, Duknia. Okay, that's very good. Excellent. Very good. So you had two good reasons and you gave the example about the internet. That's great. Okay. And again, you finished. I hope everyone else listening noticed how Duknia finished confidently. Okay. Because his voice went down. All right. Talking about using the internet for help. Okay, Duknia, that was good. Cho Zhang, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Cho Zhang, do you think it's possible to help someone you know too much?
So actually, I think that it's good when we can join our hands to support our like our relationships. However, it can make them become not independently in their life. Um and um and they can like struggle with their problems when not knowing how to deal with it in the future.
Okay, good answer, Cho Zhang. So I just want to correct one thing. You said it can make them become not independently in their life, which doesn't quite make sense in English. Do you know how to change that, Cho Zhang?
Um,
Yeah, so you said to me, you said it can make them become not independently in their life.
Đằng sau become chỉ là tính từ thôi.
make them not independent.
Correct. Yes. Okay. And of course, that is much simpler than what you said. Okay. And it is more correct. Can make them become not independent. That's good, Cho Zhang. That's good. So that is better. So remember just to use just simple words and phrases, Cho Zhang, especially in an exam situation. Doing that, as the other teacher said on the video, use that 80-90% of the time is fine. Is fine. Okay. Zung Ha, are you ready?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Why do you think sometimes people find it hard to ask for help, Zung Ha?
So I think some people have high self-esteem, or some people are too shy to ask for others' help. For example, like young people nowadays have really high self-esteem and always want to solve the problem themselves, or others are too shy and don't know who to ask for help.
Okay, that's good. So again, the only thing you need to do, Zung Ha, so your reasons were good and your language was good. But what I need you to do, Zung Ha, is just be a bit more relaxed and confident. Okay?
Okay.
So, and this will come with practice. We will keep practicing this all the time from now on. Okay? So you just sounded a little bit like they become their
Nervous?
self-esteem is no good, and you just sounded not so much nervous, but like you were a little bit unsure of your answers. That's all. So your answers were fine, Zung Ha. Your answers are fine. Okay. So you just need to learn to become, and this just comes with practice. Okay. Just to become more confident at saying those answers. That's all. Okay. And again, just like I know it's a bit hard doing it this way, but we try to practice with me just like I am your friend and we are sitting having coffee together or an ice cream or something. Okay. And you answer me just like that. Okay. That is the goal. That is what we are aiming for. Okay, everyone. So Did I miss anyone out?
Zoom.
Kakzung.
Yes.
Kakzung, I didn't see you join. Sorry, Kakzung.
Yes, it's okay.
Okay, Kakzung. So, can you answer for me the question, Kakzung? I'm going to ask you a completely different one. Okay? See how you go with this. Do you think that people will live on different planets in the future?
I don't think so. I don't think that people will live in another planet in the future because nowadays it's hard for the scientists and astronauts to find some planet that we can that is able for people to is able for us to live and to find a planet like that is really hard. So I don't think that it can happen in future.
Okay, that's good, Kakzung. That's good. So you, at the end, if I was to be very critical, I would say you repeated yourself. You said the same thing twice.
Okay.
Okay, you just said about the planet, and they can't find the planet to live on in the future, and I don't think we will find a planet to live on in the future. Okay, but the answer was good, Kakzung. So, Kakzung, the way you talked to me, okay, was good. Okay, you talked to me just like you are talking to a friend or your parents. So that was very good. So just be careful that you don't repeat yourself in your answer. All right. And like I was saying to the others, if you only have one idea or two ideas and that's it, just say it and stop. Because of course they will ask you another question. They will ask you another question straight away. Okay, so it's better to do that and stop than to just keep talking just for the sake of it, just because you think you have to. Does that make sense, Kakzung?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, everyone. So you all did that pretty well. So we'll keep practicing that every week from now on. And we will also look also at the part 2 of the speaking test at some stage, which is the longer one. So like it said in the video, the main thing to remember about parts 1 and 3 is to give explanations and examples, if you can think of one. Easy to do for part 1, a little bit harder for part 3. So don't give a short answer. For example, do you like to travel? Yes. Okay, that is a bad answer. All right, you need to give an explanation and an example. And for part 2, and again, we will look at this in other lessons, the bullet points you see on the topic card, you don't have to use all of them. You don't have to use them in the order, and you can make your own bullet points. The main thing is that you just answer the main topic. That's all. Okay, so in the time that's remaining, we've only got 15 minutes left. I know we're going to look at the writing task. Okay, so you remember this is the one we've been looking at the last couple of weeks. What your homework will be, by the way, is to finish this writing task. So everyone, I think most of you anyway, have done an introduction. If you haven't, then you will have to finish it as part of your homework. What I'm going to talk to you about now, okay, is... Actually, I'll stop sharing this and share this one, this page with you. So by now, I'm sure you all remember the structure of this sort of essay. Now, we have advantages and disadvantages. So, of course, your first paragraph is going to be where you paraphrase the question. Okay, your second paragraph might be about the advantages, your third paragraph, the disadvantages, and your fourth paragraph, the conclusion. So So what I want you to do, and you can start doing it shortly if you like, and then finish it for homework. This is the structure of each main body paragraph. You have to state 2 advantages, okay? Expand on those or explain the 2 advantages and give an example. In the second paragraph, 2 disadvantages, expand, explain, and give an example. So let's discuss that now, because I want to give you some ideas so that you can go away and write about them without thinking of ideas. Paula.
Yes.
Okay, give me 2 advantages of tourism.
Of tourism?
Yes.
It shows one country's or one city's culture.
Okay, so it shows showcase to it. Yeah. So it can, a city can show its culture to visitors. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, and another one? Another advantage of tourism.
Economy, revenue.
Good. Okay, I know we did this last week, but I'm just doing this to remind everyone. So, all right, the second advantage is economy. You mean money from tourists, Paula?
Yes.
Okay, money from tourists. All right, Jawi?
Yes.
Okay, can you think of any other advantages? In additions to the one Paula said. So Paula said one advantage is it gives a city or a place to show its culture, the chance to show its culture to visitors. And another advantage, of course, tourists bring money. Are there any other advantages?
Sign. Money.
Not sure?
Yeah, not sure.
Okay, Tuk Ling.
Yes.
Okay, any advantages you can think of besides the ones that Paula mentioned?
I don't have any ideas.
Okay. Kim Nan.
Is have many people learn about Vietnam.
Okay. Anything else?
And create jobs for people.
Okay. All right, they are similar to economy revenue, but that's good. Creates jobs for people. Thank you, Kim Nan. Tang?
Yeah.
Can you think of any advantages? Any more advantages of tourism?
I think wait. I think the idea that I'm thinking that they already told you about.
Okay. Duk Nia.
I don't think I have anything else.
Okay. Cho Zhang.
Mm.
Anything else?
Like the citizens in traveling destinations can have more chance to interact with new knowledge.
New knowledge or new people? Maybe new people and both.
Yes, both.
Okay. Learning. Okay, that's good, Cho Zhang. Zung Ha, anything else?
Create more job and opportunity for local people.
Okay, I think we already had that one from Kim Nan. Anything else, Zung Ha?
No.
Okay, good. Okay, Paula.
Yes.
Paula, disadvantages.
Pollution.
You think pollution? That's right. I remember you said that last week. Pollution. What, you mean pollution from tourists?
Yes.
Okay, Jawi.
Yes.
Disadvantages of tourism, Jawi.
Like lost the like, cultural identify.
Sorry, what was that again, Jawi?
Like people lost the like their cultural identify.
Oh, lose their cultural identity. You mean
Identity, yes.
identity. What do you mean? Like American tourists come to Vietnam and they make Vietnam a bit American? You mean?
Maybe
Because they bring
yes.
their culture. Maybe. Okay, Tuk Ling.
Have many effects on local people life.
Such as
Noisy.
okay, so a bit like what Paula was talking about before, like pollution.
Yeah.
Okay, Kim Nan. Disadvantage, any?
No.
Okay. Hung.
Yeah.
Disadvantages. Can you think of any disadvantages?
No, I don't.
Zung Ha.
Wait, I forgot the word. Affect the environment.
A bit like what Paula was saying. She was talking about bringing pollution.
Yeah, pollution environment.
Okay. Duk Nia. Disadvantage of tourism. Can you think of one?
I don't think I can. The only thing in my head right now is pollution. So
Okay. And Cho Zhang.
I don't have any idea.
Okay. All right, everyone. That's okay. That is enough ideas to be going on with. So what I'm going to do with you now, I'll share this document with you. Okay, so the advantages are now why is that on? Paula, can you see what I'm typing?
Yes.
Okay. All right, city can show its culture to the world. Okay. Revenue. All I'm doing is I'm summarizing the ideas that you told me. Oops. And one more. So what I'm going to, I'll just talk while I'm typing. What I want you to do is take 2 of these advantages, okay, and write about it as part of your essay. You can choose any two. So you've already got the ideas here. Okay, the disadvantages were don't want that there. Sorry to hold you up, everyone. And the last one, in fact, the other one was environment, which is the same. Okay, so what we have here, everyone, is we have these advantages, okay, and these disadvantages of tourism. So what I want you to do, and I'll put this in here. I don't know why has that ended up there. That's annoying. So what I want you to do, everyone, is to finish off this essay that you've already started. Okay, I've ended up putting it in twice, but I'm sure you can work your way around that. Okay, finish up this essay you've already started on the tourism. Right, tell you what, I'll just copy all of this. I'll see if it'll let me copy. No. Okay, I want you to take those advantages and those disadvantages, choose two of them from each, and put them into your body paragraphs. Does that make sense, Paula? Okay, and then write a conclusion. So if you haven't, so some of you have already finished, I know you have, Paula, you already finished your introduction, which was fine, okay? Introduction was good. So now I just want you to write a paragraph with two advantages, okay, Tukling? Two advantages, okay? Just give a one-sentence explanation of each of those advantages and an example if you can. All right, then the next paragraph, just choose two of the disadvantages. All right, just give an explanation and then an example, and then just write a short conclusion. So this should only take you about 15 minutes to do. All right, because I've already given you the advantages and the disadvantages. So all you have to do is choose two of each. Okay, put them into two separate paragraphs along with an explanation, and then just write a short conclusion. Sung Ha, does this make sense to you? Okay, Kak Zung, does this make sense to you? Okay, and then we will go over it in the next lesson. All right, and then after that, I'm going to go back to the task 1 writing, which we haven't done for a long time. Like I was saying at the start of the lesson, I want to speed things up now and give you all experience in the different parts of the IELTS speaking and writing, and not spend too long concentrating on just one sort of essay. Does anyone have any questions about this? Okay, Kim Nan, do you understand what I need you to do?
Yes.
Okay, so again, everyone, please finish the essay this week. All right, so again, using 2 of the advantages and 2 of the disadvantages I've put in that list. Does anyone need for me to send you the link again? Does anyone want the link, or you can already write in the document? Cho Zhang, does that make sense to you?
Yes, it is.
Okay, all right. Mrs. Ha, do you have anything to say before we finish?
No, teacher.
Okay,
It's
so
okay.
everyone, so we will finish the essay. Then, like I say, we will look, I will correct the essay for you during next week's lesson. We will start to look at the task 1 writing, and we will continue with our speaking practice. Any questions before I go?
Các bạn có đề xuất gì không thì on their shaking their head.
They're all shaking their heads. Okay, so I hope you understand. Please, as always, if you have any questions, email me. Okay, any questions at all, just email me if you are not sure what I want you to do. But what I want you to do this week is complete that essay about advantages and disadvantages of tourism. Okay, that's very simple. Okay, Duknia, that's a very ugly face, I can see.
Sorry.
Okay, that your face is much better, Duknia. Thank you. All right. Much better to look at. Okay, thank you, everyone. All right. Kim Nan, can you stay for a moment, please?
Yes.
Okay, everyone, so have a good week. Okay, hope you are not too stressed, and I look forward to seeing you all next weekend. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for coming to the lesson. Bye-bye.
Bye, teacher.
Bye, Mr.
Ok, chào con.
Bye-bye. Okay, Kim Nan.
Yeah.
Okay, did you see the email that I sent to you
Yeah.
yesterday? Okay, does it make sense? Is that helpful?
Yes, it's really helpful.
Good, good. So do you have any questions for me about that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Kim Nan, so that's fine. I just wanted to check. Just wanted to check that that video and email makes sense to you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, good, Kim Nan. Okay, have a good week, Kim Nan. I'll see you next week.
Bye bye.
Okay.
Ok,
Okay,
chào
bye.
con nha.